It's literally the single most prestigious individual prize in all of international football, the Golden Ball. Capturing this award doesn't just mean you had a good run for a few weeks, it means you defined an entire World Cup. I mean, just think about the history here. You've got Maradona in '86, Zidane in '06, Modric in 2018, and of course that iconic image of Lionel Messi kissing the trophy in 2022. Well, let's dive into this explainer because as we march closer and closer to the 2026 tournament, the debate over who's going to take home the next Golden Ball is already reaching a fever pitch.
So, how on earth do we figure out who's going to define the next World Cup? If you jump on Twitter, you're going to get 100 different, wildly biased answers depending on which club someone supports. And if you ask the TV pundits, let's be honest, they usually just pick the most famous player on the team they think will win the whole thing. It's mostly guesswork, right? A little bit of nostalgia mixed in. But today, we're not guessing. We are putting the opinions aside and we're looking at cold, hard cash.
To get to the real truth, we're turning to prediction markets. Now, if you're not familiar, these are global platforms where data scientists, highly complex algorithms, and high-stakes bettors literally put their real money where their mouth is. This is what we call the smart money. It completely strips away the bias and leaves us with pure mathematical probability. And let me tell you, the data set we're working with today is absolutely massive. We're pulling directly from Predacle, which is an aggregator that's currently browsing over 7,200 live markets across 6 different platforms. We're talking giants like Polymarket and Kalshi. And this data, it refreshes every 30 minutes. So this isn't just a snapshot from one random guy placing a bet. This is a continuous, living metric of exactly where the smartest money in the world thinks the 2026 Golden Ball is heading. Right off the bat, the current state of the race reveals a massive chasm between the elite top 4 contenders and, well, the absolute rest of the pack. You've got Kylian Mbappé taking up a massive 43% of the market share, followed by Messi at 31%, Jude Bellingham at 16%, and Harry Kane at 5%. After that, there's a huge drop-off to 16 or more long-shot contenders who are all sitting way down below 4%. The smart money has very clearly narrowed this entire tournament down to a 4-horse race.
So let's break this down, starting with Section 1, the elite long shot, Harry Kane.
Starting our countdown at the bottom of this elite tier, we have the captain of the English national team, Harry Kane. Now, calling someone in the top 4 a long shot might seem kind of harsh, but in the context of these specific heavyweights, that's exactly what he is. According to the aggregated real money prices, Kane currently sits at a 5% probability of winning the Golden Ball. Now, 5% might sound a little low at first glance, but you got to remember, there are hundreds and hundreds of players stepping onto the pitch in this tournament. Securing 5% of the global smart money is a massive testament to his quality. That being said, the data definitely shows bettors are a bit hesitant to back him for this specific award.
And that hesitation really comes down to the fundamental difference between 2 awards. Look, Harry Kane is a lethal finisher. He's a pure striker who has literally won the Golden Boot before. But the Golden Boot is just about math, right? It's simply about who scores the most goals. The Golden Ball, however, usually goes to the main playmaker, the creative engine of the team. The market fully expects that even if Kane scores a ton of goals, the best player narrative for England is going to naturally shift toward the midfield, which brings us perfectly to our next contender.
Coming up next, the rising prince, Jude Bellingham.
If the market believes the Golden Ball narrative will shift to a midfield playmaker, well, Bellingham is their guy. Coming in at number 3 on our list, he captures a massive 16% of the global market confidence. Let's just pause and think about how insane that actually is. For a player who's only going to be 23 years old during the tournament, to pull 16% of the smart money against legendary veterans, it's staggering. This tells us 2 major things. First, bettors strongly believe England is going deep. You just don't win a Golden Ball if you get knocked out in the round of 16. Second, it shows the market views Bellingham, not Kane, as the true heartbeat driving this English team forward.
And you know, this actually sparks a really fascinating debate that I want you all to weigh in on. Drop down into the comments right now and tell me, if England actually reaches the 2026 final, who do you think is more important to that run? Is it Harry Kane's ruthless goal scoring, or is it Jude Bellingham's absolute control of the midfield tempo? The smart money is definitely leaning toward control, but I want to know what you guys think.
All right, now for the main event, the heavyweights, Messi versus Mbappé.
These top 2 players account for an astonishing 74% of the total prediction market. This is the climax of our data countdown, and it perfectly frames a thematic clash that football fans just love, the deep romance of football history versus unstoppable modern dominance. Sitting at number 2, pulling in a staggering 31% probability across platforms, is Lionel Messi. Now, I gotta be completely honest with you. When I first looked at this aggregated data, I was genuinely shocked. We are talking about a 31% chance for a player who will be 39 years old when the tournament kicks off. How on earth is the smart money heavily backing a player at the twilight of his career?
Well, here's the secret. Prediction markets don't just measure pure athletic output. They measure narrative. Remember, the golden ball isn't decided by some spreadsheet or algorithm. It's voted on by the media. The smart money knows that if Argentina makes a deep run and Messi is out on the pitch pulling the strings, even if he's at a walking pace, the story is simply too good for the media to ignore. The market is literally pricing in the romance of a defending champion and the voters' innate desire to crown the greatest of all time, just one last time.
But as strong as that story is, even the romance of Lionel Messi cannot overtake the sheer statistical inevitability of our #1 contender. Unveiling the overwhelming market favorite, standing at the very top of the mountain with a massive 43% probability, is Kylian Mbappé. Nearly half of all the smart money in these global prediction markets is sitting squarely on his shoulders.
The case for Mbappé in the data is just overwhelming. He's the clear favorite across Polymarket, Kalshi, and basically every other platform Predacle aggregates. While Messi represents the narrative of the past, Mbappé represents the absolute new kings of football. The market believes in his pure, unstoppable modern athleticism. Bettors are looking at his sheer statistical dominance and concluding that, barring some shocking early French exit, his sheer force of will on the pitch will be practically impossible for the award voters to look past.
So, to summarize this entire landscape for the 2026 tournament, here is exactly how things stand. We've got Kylian Mbappé at 43%, the modern king. We have Lionel Messi at 31%, the defending GOAT, riding this incredible wave of narrative. We have Jude Bellingham at 16%, the rising prince, ready to claim the midfield. And we have Harry Kane at 5%, the elite finisher. This live data perfectly maps out the tension between the old guard holding on, the new kings dominating, and the rising stars absolutely hungry for their first crown.
Which leaves us with one final, very important question for you. You've seen the cold, hard data. You know exactly where the global prediction markets and the high-stakes bettors are placing their cash. But at the end of the day, data doesn't play the game. Humans do. So, weighing this real money data against your own football instincts, who would you put your smart money on for the 2026 Golden Ball? Is the market vastly underestimating a long shot? Drop your ultimate prediction in the comments below, and let's see if you can beat the smart money. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.